Hi Newsies, it is I, Becca Laurie Hector, your host of Neurodiversity Newsstand, and I am here to welcome you to a special edition of Neurodiversity Newsstand, a fireside chat version of Neurodiversity Newsstand. And as you can see, this is one of our guests. This is Choco Penny. She's a chocolate lab mix. And I figured I would do this for exactly this reason. This was exactly what I wanted to do. I have this moment with you guys that I can kind of wrap up the year and that kind of thing. And I was trying to think of something interesting, something special, something a little bit out of our ordinary to do for this one little episode. And I decided on a fireside chat. Right? Okay, so here in America, back when being a president was something respected to be, and we didn't let actors just take the job. Before that, back in the 30s, we had a president named Franklin Roosevelt, and Franklin Roosevelt decided that the way he wanted to connect with the American public wasn't kind of the way that was available. And so what he did was he created these radio shows called Fireside Chats. And he would talk directly to the American people about his programs and his ideas and the things that he was wanting to see change, since so much of what goes on with our government is kind of, I don't know, not necessarily his direct thoughts. It kind of gets filtered through our House and our Senate and all that stuff. But I don't want to get into politics. That's not the point. The point of doing this episode was sort of to connect with you guys about my ideas and my thoughts about this year, and also my ideas and my thoughts about next year and what I'm thinking about for then. And I figured if I sat on the floor upstairs in my living room instead of down in my office where I usually talk to you guys from, we might just get puppy visits, which, as you can see behind me, I've got another one. We just had Diesel, who's the boxer, and he's also visiting, and this is Layla, who's his sister, and another boxer, and she's also visiting. My pups are all crashed out on the beds behind me somewhere. So yeah, and I'm gonna try to keep my pay attention, but these guys like to sit on top of me all the time, so they're probably just gonna be here this whole time. In any case, I thought maybe I would start out talking about what I thought was the most important piece of this year for us, kind of as a community, or what I thought the kind of big takeaway from this year was. And without going back too far and being too detailed about the whole thing, the first thing that came to my mind was to think about Greta. I mean, really, this was Greta's year. I mean, we talked about her all year long. We talked about her successes. We talked about her beliefs. We talked about a whole bunch of things that she was managing to do. And what I love more than anything, I think, about what she did this year, besides going ahead and putting autistics right there in the news, in the mainstream, really in the mainstream, and doing something amazing. Besides that, I love that she did all of those things in her pink hoodie. I think that's my favorite part of it, because I know, and you can tell as an autistic, that she was being authentic. She was being her authentic self in her authentic clothes and telling the world, Layla, you gotta move. Thank you, sweetheart. Dave, can you call Layla and Diesel?
Layla, come. Diesel, come.
Go, guys. Thank you. Sorry, I thought it would be cute, but they just have to be on top of me all the time, and it's hard for me to keep my train of thought. Anyway, so yeah, I think that Greta was this huge, big win for us. I think that's what 2019 was about for us as a community. It was about taking that big, giant step out of our community bubble and walking into the mainstream and walking into kind of the world and saying we're allowed to have a voice here. And not only are we allowed to have a voice, we're allowed to have a loud voice here. And I loved that about her. I loved all of those things that she represented. And I appreciate her beliefs, because what it did was it gave us an opportunity to have that conversation too. We were able to talk about what it's like as an autistic to be bullied by ableists, when they do realize it, when they don't realize it. And we got to have that important conversation, which is something that I'm working on actually, and I'm hoping to continue that particular conversation about ableism and mainstream in some of the projects that I'm doing in 2020. So you've that to look forward to as I talk about 2019. But yeah, so Greta was, I think, our big win as a community for 2019. I think she took us throughout the whole year, and darn it if she didn't end it with like a big ol' I don't know what, high five to all the autistics out there, because after traveling the world and doing all of those strikes on all of those Fridays with all of those millions of people, and having to at the same time regulate her social media against various, I don't know, various country leaders across the world, she did it, and she did it with class and humor and with her authentic self foot first. And I love that so much. I really did. And I think at the end of it, she kind of wrapped it all up by heading home with her head held high. And the first thing she did was send us a picture of her home with her pups. Yes. Win. Thank you so much, Greta, for a great year. Sure, we had lots of other things. I mean, we've had a ton of amazing blogs. We've had a ton of amazing memes this year and great events and fantastic webinars and things that we've shared. And I encourage you to go back if you want to and kind of peruse through 2019 and our big hits in there in the groups. But I think the big time win for us was really kind of, I guess, just being able to be in the news for something newsworthy, and having autistics looked at in another light. I mean, and it was great to have her surrounded by people like Hannah Gatsby and other, what can I do for you, Layla? She just wants to sit on my lap all the time. And so, you know, I think it was just a big win for us. I think that was our 2019 win. So I'm going to go with that as 2019. And then I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about 2020. And of course, I can't know what's going to be out in the news in 2020. You can't know what's going to be out in the news in 2020. And yet there will be news in 2020. So we can't know what the unexpected is, but I can tell you some expected stuff. I can talk about the stuff that I'm going to be working on and the things that I'm going to be thinking about and the stuff that I hope you guys will kind of take the journey with me and think about along with me. So here I am talking about 2020. So to do that, I want to go back and talk about a concept that I used to talk about a lot on this YouTube channel, which is the F word. If you haven't seen any of the F word videos, please go back into the channel. I've made a playlist of them. You can watch them back to back. None of them are very long. But I was kind of feeling my way through YouTube and trying out doing different series. And where the F word came from was sort of this place in my life where I kind of, one of my early ventures into mindfulness and one of my early ventures into creating this life that I don't need a vacation from was to decide that I was going to do away with New Year's resolutions. So I don't do those anymore. I don't do resolutions because they never worked for me. I always beat myself up for not being able to do them. And then I hated myself for a good chunk of the year and considered the whole year a failure. And it was, you know, a big old waste. And it just, the concept of resolution didn't work for me. There isn't one thing that I want out of the year. There's kind of a, there's a theme. There's a theme I want for the year and a theme I want to keep coming back to and I want to take the lessons from and I want to use it as the force to move forward as well as, you know, when to stay back. And I've done that for the last 6 years. And every year, I started out with an F word. My very first one was forgiveness. And I just kind of said, I need a theme. I need some way to stick to it when I get to the next year. So I said, I'm going to pick another F word. And then I kind of played with the F word of it all. And I kind of went off that concept. And I've talked about that a lot. So 6 years of F words going, and now I'm stepping into 2020. In 2019, my word was flourish. It's been interesting to have that as my theme and kind of think about what that word means and know the kind of the year that I had. It wasn't an easy year. It was an emotional struggle this year. It was a financial struggle this year. It was a career struggle this year. But we landed in this house this year. So it was a lot of things happening at the same time this year. And I guess that's what flourishing looks like. It's not really this nice, even, pretty dance necessarily. It's sort of this chaos. You do things with a little bit of chaos. And when things are growing, that's how they happen, you know, when they flourish. Diesel is another fan of the lap. He might just actually sit and stay, though, which is cool. So yeah, that's what flourish was for me this year. I had expected it to be a little different. I wanted it to look a little different, but you don't really get that choice. You just get the filter of your theme of this year that you've chosen, and then the world is going to happen as it is. So I had to reinterpret flourish a lot for myself this year, and I had to really think about it. Layla, can you please? She just has to be in the front. But anyway, best face in the whole world. Is it not the best face? Anyway. So yeah, so that was my word, and I have shared, I think, with a few people what my F word is for this year, but I haven't shared it with you guys in Neurodiversity Newsstand. So I'm going to share with you my F word for this year, and I'm going to kind of give you the task of finding your own F word. And you can really be loose with it. It doesn't have to be an F word, but what it does have to be is a verb. It needs to be an action word. You do not want to pick a theme that keeps you inactive. So you want to make sure you're choosing a verb. So that's the only constraint I'm going to give you. You can choose any letter of the alphabet you want to. I happen to use F because I like it. I am going to, Diesel, sorry. Can you move it? Thank you. And I'm going to share with you guys right now what I do with my F word. So here we go. This is last year's F word. I don't know if you can make it out. It's all kind of rusted out now. So what I do is every year I go to myintent.org, whatever, I think it's .org, and they do these bracelets that they make out of metal, and they send you the bracelets. I think it's like $25 or something like that, and they put whatever word you want on it. And I put it on in the beginning of the year, and I wear it in my showers. I never take it off. It stays on, and it's my reminder that that's my theme for the whole year. So this year's bracelet arrived. I have yet to put it on because here we are sitting between Christmas and New Year's. And then I'm going to put it on kind of at New Year's the next day, first, whatever. And I'm going to share it with you right now. That word is flower. I have chosen flower as my word. I kind of pulled off of flourish being the word from this year and kind of wanting to go into another phase of all of that. And I really like the word flower because at first I thought about it like, yes, I want to become kind of beautiful and come into myself, and that's what the word flower is going to really mean to me. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and really what the word means to me and what flower can really represent is that when flowers are going about becoming a flower, they're just living their purpose. That's all they're doing is living their purpose. They're not thinking about the flowers around them and whether they're prettier than the flowers around them or they smell nicer than the flowers around them. They're not wondering whether they're the best species of flower. They are doing their own individual thing. And I think that in order to be the best them that they can be to fulfill their purpose, right? And that is my goal for this year with the word flower. I want to come into myself a little bit more. I want to really stay in my lane and focus on me and focus on the things that I love and that I'm concerned about and the things that I want to write about and the projects that I want to do. And I want to spend just a little bit less time on social media with sharing everybody else's stuff and a little bit more time building my own things and sharing more of my stuff. And that's what flower is going to mean to me for this year. And I hope that that inspires you to pick your version of the F word for this year and give it a try to have a theme for the year instead of a resolution. Because I read this fantastic article that talked about how resolutions, actually most people by February have broken their resolution. So I'm going to challenge you to keep your F word, whatever it is, way past February. And I'm going to come hit you back in February with another plan if you have flunked with your resolution. I guess that's about it for me for 2019. I hope you guys have enjoyed my little fireside chat. You've got to see a lot of the guest dogs, and Walter is just about to come in and say hello. There's his little face. And, oh my love, come on. And that's about it. So have an amazing rest of your 2019. Do some recharging. Sit on the floor with some dogs like me. Stay in your pajamas like me. Or do what feels good to you. But spend that time thinking about what you're going to do with your 2020. Because 2019 is gone. That's it. It's gone already. Where did it go? What did you do with it? Don't be saying that in 2020. I'll see you guys in 2020 with our first January Neurodiversity Newsstand. Until then, leave me comments, leave me wishes, leave me pics, whatever you want. Make sure you subscribe to the channel below and hit those notifications so whenever I upload videos, you will know that they're up. Go back and check out the old F words. See what you like on my channel. Let me know what's going on for you guys. Share your thoughts with me because I love hearing from you. And I will see you in 2020. I'm Baccalaureate Hector. See you then. Bye from me and Walter and Layla's butt.